What does that mean if I say triple bogey? What am I saying?
That means that on a hole that you were supposed to make it in 4 shots,
you made it in 7.
10 Cup. I mean, the best movie on this dais today. Love the background, John. She was so hot in that movie. The casting in this movie is incredible. The locations are incredible. The characters are incredible. The story is incredible. Some of the one-liners, some of the moments. It's just really a memorable movie. It's hard to say in the scheme of things how much it was a success, but on a budget of 45 million, and then to make 8 million. I mean, Kevin Costner, Rene Russo, Cheech Marin, and then Don Johnson. And then a bunch of cameos as well from a bunch of people that are in that industry, in that world, based on a story by Ron Shelton and Tim Norville, which actually worked together on Bull Durham. I don't know if you guys remember that movie.
Oh yeah.
And actually, the story of how it was created and the idea of the name seems like it would be more fitting for Caddyshack or Happy Gilmore. It's based on a vulgar expression that he's not worth a fart in a tin cup, and that's not with the premise of the movie or anything like that. That's just them that kind of wrote that. The movie's predominantly filmed in Tubac, Arizona, Kingwood, Texas. Also throughout Tucson, Arizona. Some of the locations are still standing today. Some of them are not. So like the scene that's out on the patio where he ends up hitting the golf ball down the road on that golf course. So the course is still there, but that patio has been demoed for a nicer clubhouse. You know, the iconic sign, last chance to hit golf balls, which for any golfer is just kind of a great start to that movie, along with a great soundtrack. Save me from those double bogey blues, right? I mean,
la vida de Brian que me interesa con piel la de Wilson, no la de Monty Python, no la de Crimson. Mi flow es Tyson, encerrado en un friki con ojeras de Ethan Hawke y la tocha de Richard Nixon. El tote cambia, lo sé, el viejo dónde estará, que si el música pancé, que si el tipo.
The main scene, the main climax of the movie, as we all know, is supposedly the 18th hole at a golf course in North Carolina, but the film was actually shot at Deerwood Country Club, located in Kingwood, Texas. And it's not even the 18th hole, and it's not a par 5. It's a 13th hole, and it's a par 4. But to this day...
It does look kind of short, doesn't it? Like
it does, and the water actually didn't even
short.
exist. The next time you watch it, I know you just watched it, but if you freeze it on the scene of the water, there's actually no water hazard. You can tell they dug a friggin' hole, put a tarp, and filled it up with water. So another fun thing is there is, like I said, all those cameos. I mean, for those of you that are golf fans watching, Phil Mickelson is so young in this movie. He's still wearing a diaper.
Dude, super young, yeah.
You know, he looks like a child. They have Lee Jansen, Gary McCord, some of the biggest names, even Jim Nance, one of the announcers that's been doing the Masters for CBS for, decades.
Jim Nance was in Happy Gilmore as well.
Yeah, so, another tie-in there with the golf. He had a busy year that year, and he got to go probably do all the NCAA and the Masters in the U.S. Open, so Jim Nance has had a good run and has a fun part in the movie. Gary McCord, longtime PGA superstar, is actually the one that taught Kevin Costner how to swing a golf ball or a golf club. All of the shots performed by Costner in the movie were performed by him. He was hitting those golf shots. And, just some great stories and great characters, I said. And then you throw in a love story, and it's competitive. And fun characters like David Sims, played by Don Johnson. Even Kevin Costner's grandparents, or the scene with the grandparents and the grandchild with the dog, where David Sims is really mean to him. That's actually Kevin Costner's parents and his son, Joe Costner.
Oh.
I don't give a fuck if it's first, second, third, or whatever. Try to put my damn myself.
Man, Rene Russo in this movie is a fucking smoke show. Is an absolute fucking smoke show, man.
Waggle it. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That shot.
Oh, dude.
And his epiphany when he's talking to her, I mean, that's just so well written. I mean, it's
oh, God. The screenplay of this movie is phenomenal. Like, it's almost just as strong of a point as anything else in this film is like getting to know everybody in the first half of this movie and then moving on to where it gets really extreme with the golf, which I think is great. Danny, I'm sure Danny can talk a little bit more about that. But the love story stuff, it does happen fast. It doesn't feel rushed. What I mean by that is like Kevin Costner is like basically telling her he's in love with her in the first 30 minutes of the movie, but I don't mean it like I still feel that it works though, because that's his character. That's who he is. Tin Cup is he's such a fly off the handle character, which we obviously find out when we watch his golf game, which is why him and Cheech, who honestly, like Cheech, I mean, give that dude best supporting actor that year. He was fucking great in this movie.
Yeah, that scene where he gets frustrated and quits, like you feel that raw emotion. It's so
feel
real.
He's been through this before.
Yeah.
Like
he's it's not just this moment that he's pissed off about, and you feel all of that. Their history. You feel for a while because the movie goes on for a good 15 minutes before they reconcile. You're like, I know they're going to come back together, but like you kind of still feel the divide between them even when he comes back. It's just like it really kind of hurt Cheech. Even though the movie is a comedy, there's a lot of real emotions, I think, in this movie.
Yeah, and a lot of real relationships, like his support system in the movie, like the people.
All those people. Yeah, even the ex-wife stripper, like they're all rooting for him. You know, that scene in the diner where they're like to the cup, and he's like, "This is the greatest moment. This could be, this is what life is worth living for."
You would expect, a film like this, maybe, they're going to put a little more effort into the writing and write three-dimensional characters, but sometimes you get that for maybe the two leads. Maybe like a third person, like the protagonist gets a little bit more characterization, but even like Cheech and the stripper ex-girlfriend and some of the other characters in the movie are well written, like, fleshed out more than they necessarily needed to be for a film like this.
Even Don Johnson, like he's an asshole, but he's not a Shooter McGavin. Like he has a soul. I don't want to say a heart, but he has a soul. Like he's not a complete piece of fucking shit. He just hates Tin Cup,
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best Kevin Costner characters ever. Like he's so fucking funny, and he's kind of dumb, but he's also witty at the same time. There's something about him that's just
he's got like the kind of drunken delivery, kind of the slow drunken delivery that's different than the typical Kevin Costner performance. Is he's suave.
Oh, I'm bad. All right, let me tell you one. I have a new one. Pork chop. Greasy. We beat their fucking team. Easy.
Even if I'm trying to think, even if he's played a role where he kind of was like drunk or something, this is played differently. This comes across as like a very different character than what you've seen him play before. It still encompasses, like, Kevin Costner is one of those actors that doesn't necessarily break the mold of who he is. He brings the same character to every movie, but he infused this one with so many more elements that he doesn't bring to his regular, like, everyman role that just made it stand out. And then the comedic chops that he displays in this movie and the witty delivery.
That's the thing. Ron Shelton, if people watching this don't know, he's not just a brilliant sports filmmaker. He's also a really good writer of characters. You mentioned Bull Durham. He also did White Men Can't Jump. He also did Play It to the Bone. All those movies have sports in them, but there's, and I know I'm leaving some out too, because he's done even more than that. He wants to really focus on characters in sports in those movies. And even if people don't like Play It to the Bone, which is a boxing movie about two guys, I find it a very interesting character study about two best friends that have to box each other in a main event. This movie, same thing, except I do feel in the third act it becomes a golf movie. And that's what I love about this movie, because you already got all your character stuff, and now it's the golf stuff, and that shit is awesome.
And then when they bring in all of the real people, as was said earlier, and all the real announcers and the kind of sound effects and overall feel of being at a golf tournament,
it has that rousing, sports drama feel when you get into those later golf scenes in the movie. But
so good, man.
And there's still a lot of humor to be had in the second half of the movie. But the first half of the movie, with the setup of all these wonderful characters and their how their relationships are growing. I love the scene at when he goes to her.
I didn't say shit to her.
Well, I actually think the funniest part is when he's done and he's leaving, she's still in there crying, and he opens the door and he's like, she's still in here crying. And then he yells at her, like specifically, he's like, you're still in the exit room. All aggressive. Like she's trying to deal with shit. Costner's like frustration. He doesn't know how to begin or he doesn't know how to do therapy.
That's where he is the funniest. In the movie.
He's hilarious in that scene. I do think it's a little lame. Like she's a smart woman. I think it's a little lame that she's not aware he's talking about her in that scene.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think she is.
I think the writing is too smart for that.
I
moment.
think she is aware. She's just not taking space.
I think in the very, very beginning of the conversation, she has no idea, but by the end, it's
she picks up on it. But like I would think, just by saying, there's a woman, and she's from the moment he says, and she's dating a guy, and he's a real asshole. Like that. I think she should have been like, wait a minute. I think you're talking about me and David.
And to your point, Ben, golf is a lot about how you're feeling, how the mental stuff is going on, like emotionally, how you're dealing with the stress. Because golf is overall a pretty simple game, but it really matters what's going on in your life, and that parlays over into your golf game, in my opinion.
Dude, you are not kidding. You are not kidding.
And they kind of found organic ways to work her character being, having the therapy and stuff. Like, I feel like it's somewhat organic to work into this screenplay.
And she gives him the will to be the best player that he can be, whereas before you can tell that character is not really motivated and is okay just running the driving range, sitting in a fake pool in a Winnebago, eating day-old donuts.
Well, and it all comes to fruition when she's sitting next to the ex-wife stripper who's like, don't encourage him to take that fucking shot. And she's like, no, fuck that. Take it, Roy.
You're right, Roy. Just knock it on. Let her rip. Oh, Molly, you're losing it.
But I just thought it was funny that his name is Rory McAvoy.
Yeah.
And then about 5 years later, Rory McIlroy would show up. It's just very similar.
He was now still the number 2 golfer in the world and has been, kind of carrying the PGA Tour, one of the biggest stars on the PGA Tour.
By the way, I was really happy for him this year. I was really happy for him. I'm not a huge McAvoy fan, but I was happy for him.
One thing I wanted to point out about the screenplay, because I mean, the cast of this movie is great. Everyone is awesome in it. Has great chemistry with each other all throughout. But the screenplay is kind of the star of this movie for me. Like I just love so many moments of it. And what I love about it is, we're here to talk about golf movies, and this one infuses golf into every aspect of this movie. Not just in it does amazing things with the dialogue to infuse golf, but also into the characters themselves, into just the setting, obviously taking place in all these interesting locales that are golf related. But the way that the first couple scenes, especially the first scene between Molly and Roy, and the golf dialogue, his whole speech or poem about what is the golf swing by Roy McAvoy is just awesome. And for a layman, someone who doesn't know a ton about golf, it all still made sense to me. It's all very relatable, seems poignant to some degree. So yeah, I just love that. That it worked for me as a layman, not the biggest golf fan, and I still got all of the references and felt like I was there. I was enjoying this golf movie, which isn't my thing. And it was
I'll tell you this,
and insightful.
I'll tell you this, John. When you're getting golf lessons as a man, your golf instructor is not grabbing your ass the way he did. And I love that Don Johnson's like, take your hands off her ass, Roy.
Get your hands off her ass, Roy.
He was moving in for the kill in that moment and got caught by the boyfriend.
Well, that's the scene that reignites and sparks the rivalry in the movie.
Well, no, I thought it was when he kind of fucked with him and he's like, I want you on my team, Roy. Oh, no, I don't want you to play for us. I want you to caddy. That was what did it. That was a great
moment, the way that plays out. But he still accepts it. He was there. He would have finished the round.
No, he wants the money, but he's still.
He ends up getting fired anyway, which is another great scene too. He's like, you hit that shot and you're done.
All of the ups and downs throughout the movie really are character driven. You see the strengths and the flaws that these characters have are why things go south or why they have some success. This movie is about a guy that even when he's on the verge of success finds a way to screw it up, and that is integral to his character. And by the end of the movie, we still love him for that aspect. So there's probably more downs, and his flaws get in the way more often than his strengths give him some type of success, but it's still there in the movie as well. And I just love that. And not just for Kevin Costner's character, the David Sims character, Rene Russo's characters, we see all of their flaws, and those create the ups and downs in the plot instead of like, oh, we need the plot to go in a certain direction just so the movie can go here.
And then it's an interesting script as well, because you don't really find out. Well, you're hinted the whole movie, specifically when he misses that 12 shot, like he misses when he misses it the first day, then he misses it the second day, and then he keeps going, and then you're like, okay, this guy, he doesn't really give a fuck about like being famous or winning this thing. He just has something to prove to himself, and I don't think he cares about anybody else at that moment. You know, he just wants to prove something to himself. And when he does get that hole in one, it's like, I don't really, maybe Danny can explain like how that works, because he's already out of the competition by that point, right?
Yeah. He would have been, it would be an even bigger, what I got was, it's an even bigger embarrassment to not finish the round, and he had to get it in the hole with a single ball, not being on the green. So he basically had to hit a hole in one.
Well, he wasn't gonna chip it. He wasn't gonna chip it, right, Danny? Like, he didn't want to do that. He wanted to fucking put it on the green in one hit, and nobody else was doing that. And he tried that every day. And then on the final fucking round,
you're absolutely right. So he doesn't have the mentality of like the David Sims of playing it smart and just doing what you need to do to win. He wants to, I think it was a great point you made, prove it to himself. And he's always that guy that always goes for it. And that's why Molly ends up falling in love with him. That's written into the dialogue of the movie and who his character is. So when he doesn't lay up and he gets that moment, instead of, he's not even thinking about winning the US Open at that point. He's thinking about how he can set the court record if he can go for this green in two on the par 5. So he hits his first tee shot and he's staring down a certain amount of distance over water. Hitting that shot, if it would have gone in like it did on the 12th, that would have been in for double eagle. And I think that is kind of the cheesiest moment of the movie that actually goes in.
You mean that it goes in? That goes in the hole?
On the 12th shot, but I think
you kind of know that that's going to happen, though.
How do you wrap up? Because it would be interesting to know how, like, a non-golf fan like you, John, felt when you're watching that movie, like, to see the frustration of it continuously going into the water, hitting the green, and then rolling back.
Oh, except maybe in the rain. Look at this. This is a huge mistake. Very steep bank, and there's a hazard. Excuse me.
Oh, it's a cringy scene, man. It makes your ass swell up, dude.
Your heart's breaking for him at that point.
It's one of those swinger scenes, you know, Ben, you know what I'm talking about. Those moments where you're like, you're trapped in it.
Where he's on the phone.
There's still humor to be had. There's raw emotions going on throughout the scene, but you're like, please end soon. Don't do one more. Oh, we got to do one more. Okay, no, end it. Oh, we got to do one more.
He does so many.
But it's so character driven that I love it.
It's not you, it's me. It's what I'm going through. All right. It's only been 6 months.
Mike?
Nikki, great. Did you just walk in, or were you listening all along?
Don't ever call me again.
Wow.
What I do love is the non-traditional, you know, typical sports movies have your hero win the big game at the end. And this one, that's not this character. That wouldn't be right for this character. So we found a way for it to still feel like a positive outcome at the end, but he still failed. He lost. It's more in line with who his character is.
It stayed so true to the person that you ended up liking and ended up rooting for throughout this entire.
Well, and specifically the final scene where she has to tell him, like, you know,
she makes
when
it
you're
make
qualified,
sense.
you're going to make it next year. He's like, really? Like, he's kind of dumb. You know, like,
no, I wasn't thinking that. I think the way that she explains, because I think this is true. Who won Best New Artist in 2002 at the MTV Movie Awards or Music Awards?
Pink.
No, who fucking knows? But who got their top pulled off at the MTV Movie Awards?
Janet Jackson.
No, that wasn't the MTV. That was the Super Bowl. That was the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Whatever. I have the event wrong, but you get my point. Who won, you know, Best Actor or Best Actress at the whatever Oscar? I don't know. But
You would know
who
that.
slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars?
I took that hit like Pacquiao.
So the more
I thought it
controversial,
was Jamie
out of
Foxx.
the ordinary moment is going to be remembered for all time versus who won that particular year, because there's always a winner.
Nobody's going to remember who won the U.S. Open, but they're going to remember your 12.
Yeah, you're immortal 12, and it makes sense.
That's what Ron Shelton does with his screenplays when he does these sports drama comedies. Bull Durham, same exact fucking thing happens in that. Like, he breaks a record, but he's not going to the show. He's not going to be a pro. White Men Can't Jump. Like, you get that amazing dunk from Billy Hoyd, Woody Harrelson's character. They're not going to be pros, but it was like it's the moments that matters. You know, it's like this is the moment that they want. That's what I love about Ron Shelton movies is like they're all sports movies. Same with Play to the Bone. Those two guys, Woody Harrelson and what's his name?
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas, best friends. They have a small ticket in a fight of a $1 billion fucking fight, and they put out the best fight in the entire night, and then the actual like heavyweight fight lasts like 10 seconds, but everyone's just talking about the fight between those two guys. This is a pattern with Shelton. Like, he loves to, they don't need to win, they just need to be remembered, and this movie does that so good.
Yeah,
especially because when you find out at the end, like, he doesn't even really realize that, like, he proved it to himself, and that's all he really cared about.
And he knew he could make that shot, and he got the woman of his dreams too. And then it ends with that great line at the end when they're on the ropes, and David Sims moves on to that next, good-looking blonde, because he's just that shallow kind of successful.
Yeah. Good looking, but to the point of the line that I think you're gonna say, not as good looking as Rene Russo.
Correct, and it just has that great moment where Roy McAvoy looks at David Sims and goes, "Nice par, David."
Yeah,
because he's holding the birdie, right?
Nice par, David.
In the face! In the face!
That's where I was saying, like, as a layman, like, it's not hard to follow, even if you're not a
No,
golfer.
that line is
like, that was a very witty joke within the golf world.
It is.
That somebody who's not paying attention or doesn't know enough about golf could not understand what was being said.
He's basically saying, like, "Hey, nice playing it safe.
Yeah,
I went for it.
Yeah,
you know?
I got the hole in one right here, right there over my shoulder."
That's one of the greatest lines in the movie.
Yeah,
man.
I really love the line in their initial meetup when she's taking her first couple swings and fuck, and the next ball, shit, and he's like, fuck, shit. These are highly technical golf terms you're using on your first lesson.
Motherfuck.
Yeah.
He's so James Bond in that first interaction.
Dude. Oh man. The way the camera shows him like grabbing her hips, and
It's all in the head. Yeah, it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
Get off of me!
and it just does not shy away from how fucking perfect she is as a human specimen,
The
man.
driving pro from West Texas.
Like, that final scene in the movie, it really finally tells you like why he is where he is at the beginning of the movie. He gets in his own way. He always goes for it. He doesn't play it safe. Like, because a lot of these people in this movie are like, all the commentators and stuff, they're like, who the hell is this guy? And it's like, he's a club pro. He's a good golfer, but they don't know who he is because he's never played well in tournaments and stuff.
And one of the announcers that actually does it during that scene, he's like, all he's got to do is hit the ball down there and get it on, make par, make bogey, and get out of here. That's what he's...
You said it exactly.
Like,
that's exactly what he said.
Golf?
Exactly. All he has to do is make par, get out of here.
I just don't know what he's doing. And that actually adds to the tension. Because at this point, because there's probably so many people that are wishing he would have just laid up and they want to to win the tournament, but
Yeah.
you love that big moment where he just keeps trying. And that actually is written off of a real story that happened to Gary McCord. Because for you non-golfers, you're only allowed to carry a certain amount of golf balls in your bag, and once you've lost all of those, you are disqualified from the tournament. So it has that great scene with Romeo at the end where he's like, "This is your last ball, Roy." And he has another great moment going into that too. He's like, "This is another one of those defining moments where you either define the moment or the moment defines you." Just kind of adds to the seriousness and like the realist, how realistic his demons are in that type of arena and in life in general.
Yeah, and the only person that seems to really know it is Cheech. Like, because Cheech has been there. They never specifically say how long they've been friends, but Cheech knows the fucking game. I keep calling him Cheech because I can't remember his character's name. But he knows the game just as well as any pro golfer does. Like, he knows exactly what he should do and what he shouldn't do. And it's like, yeah, that's a caddy. That's why this movie, it's so fleshed out. It's like, I don't know how realistic it is being on the tour, but it just seems like the most realistic depiction that we've had so far.
Here's a golf question for this movie, because this movie at least tries to play it more realistic with the golf game. But I know there's the one moment where he bets the guy that he can beat him without clubs and plays with all the gardening tools.
Oh, I love that fucking scene, man.
Great song during that too, by the way. Fits perfectly.
That's not like a real golf game they were playing. They were just betting each other and kind of going out for fun.
I love that. He's like,
I don't know. I just feel like he was getting an advantage the way he was hitting with a baseball bat and a shovel. It was like, it was
shovel.
easier. It was almost easier.
No, I don't think it'd be easier because you can't aim the same. It's completely different.
Yeah, and totally not legal, but just an underground bet to kind of carry the story and make it fun and really.
It was a fun scene.
So if you pulled out from a non-golf club and hit a ball with it during a real round of golf, that would be illegal.
Yeah, that's obviously.
Oh my God! I mean, I've tried bringing out my samurai sword, and Gabe's always like, "No, you can't use that."
Because I bumped into him, and all I had on me was this samurai sword.
I love Tin Cup. It's really a fantastic character study, a really fucking funny comedy, great golf movie. It's got everything. It's got everything I love in a movie, not just a sports movie or whatever. It's kind of almost like a perfect movie.
Yes, it is, especially the screenplay, just how tight it is.
Weed is tight. Weed is tight.
Yeah, it's kind of a perfect movie for what it needs to be. It's really well rounded, that it's so humorous, but the second half does give you kind of that rousing sports feel that you want from a sports movie, especially like Ron Shelton has done that with his other films and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not as familiar with Ron Shelton's other, like I've seen them in the past, but I don't remember them all that well. Like this is probably my favorite of his. This is the one that sticks out for me. This might be one of my favorite Kevin Costner performances ever. Now that I'm really kind of thinking it that way and looking back at it like that, it's got so many facets of it that are so much more interesting than his heroic and stoic typical type of performances.
I wish I could remember how the movie was marketed and if it was really.
It was marketed as a love story.
Yeah, I imagine.
I remember it.
Well, and I imagine they played up that it was from the maker of Bull Durham and
it was, but it was full blown 96 rom-com trailers.
Vindicated, I am selfish, I am wrong,
Danny, look at what's behind John. It looks like the post-apocalyptic fucking explosion or something. What the fuck is that?
Or like the sun is shining on a beautiful day somewhere. And
to be honest, I thought Tin Cup had a reference to like the cup, a golf cup, you know? Like
yeah, no, a lot of people did. And there's only one line in the movie that really talks about what it is, and it was the fact that he needed a fucking jock strap made of tin, right? Yeah, and didn't you say, Danny, that wasn't like there was somebody really named that wasn't the case or something? Or
no, so in the movie it's referenced that he was a catcher, and the
he was a catcher. Yeah,
curveball.
Is that what he is in Bull Durham? Is he a catcher?
He is.
It's kind of a reference.
Wait,
to
Costner's in Bull Durham?
He's the
He's
star.
the main guy.
It was what's his name from Shawshank?
And then Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins is
like,
the second lead.
It's kind of a love triangle between Tim Robbins, Susan Sarandon, and Kevin Costner.
Susan Sarandon has never looked hotter than she did in that movie, by the way.
So that is totally something that I didn't pick up on when you're watching it. You had to be a really like big Ron. Ron really kind of wrote himself into these films here. It's great.
Sure.
You know what's funny? It like John, you will know. I'm guessing when you were rewatching it, you saw like the guy from fucking Cliffhanger. Is just in the background who barely has a line, but he's just like one of Tin Cup's buddies. You know? Like
all of those guys, like they have enough screen time to make their mark. They're all in a million movies. That they're all popular character actors. But they fill out his little group of friends really well.
And you love them, dude, because they're so. Even his ex-wife, who like the first scene you see with her, you're like, oh, she's gonna be like a fucking pain in the ass, but she's not. She is fully like supportive of him, and I love it that I guess she ends up with Cheech. We don't know, but it seems like I think
they're dancing.
There's very few movies in the world where you don't want a sequel because you don't want them to fuck with the brilliance of the first movie, but you want to know what happened to the characters. And with Roy, I want to know, did he spend enough time with God, what's her name?
Molly?
With Molly to where she was able to calm him down to a level where he could go back next year and win, or not? Or did he get corporate sponsors?
This is why I thought it was like a really cool non-traditional sports screenplay or sports movie screenplay, because you have that really rousing moment. I mean, I guess you get this in other, maybe in Rocky, he wins a match halfway through the movie or something like that. But that was like halfway through the tournament, he has this really big up. He
has a huge day. He has a fucking record-breaking day. Yeah.
And from a filmmaking standpoint, they actually bring the tension in that moment where you're on the edge of your seat of what's going to happen, and it's really exciting the way sports movies can be. Then we get a bunch of other stuff that leads into, I think there's a whole nother day, and then the final round. That's like on day 2, and then there's like still a day 3, and then I think day 4. So there's a bunch more story left. But like that moment really sells like this is an exciting sports movie for a while. Then we go back into a little rom-com for a little while. Then we get back to the final round that amps it all back up into like edge of your seat sports excitement.
But Shelton gives you that tension where this new day approaches, and you hear the commentators going like, this new guy, Roy Munson. I know it's not.
Driving range pro from West Texas at the top of the league.
Yeah. He's hitting shit that no one's ever done, and you're waiting for him to fuck up on that day, and he doesn't. On that day he closes, and you're like, oh shit. And then obviously the next day he has a terrible day.
So if I'm going to rate Tin Cup, I'm going to give it definitely an Eagle. It just knocks it out of the park, as we've been, kind of lovingly talking about this whole time. It's just every little ingredient that you need in a good movie is there. And you're entertained the entire time, and even not as a golf fan, you want to know what happens to these people, and you want to know what continues happening in their lives. So definitely double Eagle.
Wait, what's the difference between an eagle and a double eagle?
So a double eagle would just be like on a par 4, you hit it in 2.
Let's base it on par 5s. Everything that we're talking about is par 5.
All right, it's an eagle. It's an eagle on a par 5. Yeah.
Which means you got it in 2.
You got it in 3 instead of 5.
What is 2 on a 5?
A double eagle. Another double eagle. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going with double eagle. I think it's that good. I can't give it hole in one. I don't know why I can't. I mean, it is kind of perfect for the movie that it's trying to be. I don't really see any flaws. There's a couple little scenes where I was like, character motivations weren't the same as the characters that are very defined. So there was a few moments where I was like, that doesn't exactly seem like the character you're presenting to us. Perfection is, the movie even says, perfection is not attainable. I'm gonna listen to the movies. Yeah, I'm gonna go with double eagle on this.
I would definitely have gone for hole in one because this movie has everything I love, but I'm gonna go double eagle as well. And you guys are gonna hate me for this. And the only reason it gets knocked down a tiny bit is because I don't really like all the country music that's in this movie. You know, like, it's very 90s country. I get it. It fits the aesthetic. It fits the tone. I just sometimes I'm just like, music. I wish there's something different there.
And good old-fashioned lead. We're gonna show Saddam what America means. That son of a bitch will be dead.
Honestly, that's just like the world's smallest John nitpick. So one thing I'll say about this movie, and I think Danny mentioned it sort of, is that if you're not a golf fan, you'll still like this movie, but it might actually make you a golf fan or make you want to play golf, because there's so many interesting characters, and it brings you into that world, the lingo, and just like it does such a good detailed description of the game. And then when you see these cool people that are likable playing the game, the way that swingers made people swing dance, and who knows, but
I agree, Ben. And like golf really blew up a year later in '97. Like,
it did. It did.
It really kind of like the audience and who wanted to play golf, and now it became more accessible, and all of those things really started right after this movie came out.
Mamá me enseñó a trepar hasta el tocadisco y Bill Martin me enseñó que uno escribe siempre lo mismo. Con las barras que no inventan ellos, certificado bomba si le pongo el sello. Los maté y me despido hasta luego. Yo no paso el testigo en tu carrera, bebé.